What's up, guys? Wolf Games here, and welcome back to Danganronpa. The Ultimate Despair, a group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most depressingly awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figure out the rest of the story. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Alright. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monkuma's secret tool?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolute vital part of the Mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door. Hey Kyoko, we can use that key of yours to open that door.
It's true.
Let's find out. Yes, it opened.
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. Alright. Finally. We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief. Because the real fight had just begun. Chapter 6. This is the last chapter of the game. Alright. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves a tunnel. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder. Why this angle? Whatever. The ladder was impossibly long. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, you won't be able to catch... I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off it. So Kyoko, there's something I want to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long? Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So,
right.
Because we take pride in it.
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society, which is why we've made a effort to conceal our existence.
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because like I said, it's our source of pride. So that explains. Before I came here, I was looking up info about the school online. I never saw anything about her because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However,
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing that I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. The reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right?
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. But you would be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about. There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
there is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. The last time I saw him, I was still very young, so I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line of becoming the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However,
but he had no interest in detective work, so he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving. Because unlike him, I take pride in my work. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance of becoming a detective. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true. But there's only one thing. One thing I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind, like I said. I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family in order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart or soul?
Hey.
No. Is blood really enough to call someone family? I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond, so instead, I said nothing. I I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it. On the other side of this door, Hoof Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
Right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should be open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. Alright. The hatch opened with ease. Looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Okay. So now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too, you helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Then let's just get a concrete answer.
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However...
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you're thinking is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that... whatever that word is. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was. Right. If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be at the gym. Alright. Alright. Let's go to the gym.
Well now.
Kyoko, I don't mind so much, but Makoto is supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do? If the guilty party is exposed during class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now, I'm gonna punish you again. And this time, I won't leave any chance. Kyoko, do whatever you feel you have to.
However...
But before you do, let me just say one thing. If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? I lose?
Hey!
You explain yourself. What does that mean?
Because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to
in
kill
other
me.
words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? What are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The result of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting, because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right,
And in response to that unexpected development,
indeed,
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation, no more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
however,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of being that could come to an aid after you killed it.
am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro, you did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto.
Well?
And you can prove this to me, right?
Well,
No, I can't. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of
that
evidence.
doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find
That's
some.
right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury, there is only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by despair. You so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in absence of evidence?
indeed,
It's not you I'm trying to convince. If you were to execute Makoto, now everyone out there watching would be extremely displeased.
indeed,
Imagine what everyone out there would think of you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making all this up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove us wrong. Because if you kill Makoto without proving you're wrong, proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and
that's what we
square,
have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So what's this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a
It's
fair
time
trial.
for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair.
Ooh.
Hey,
Well, that would make it of a proper climax, wouldn't you say? This would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Interesting indeed.
What's wrong?
I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. Now, what you've suggested might be plausible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I've prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim
barely
victory?
contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown. We still have one shot.
Barrett!
But this is a long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting ending.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been bared here. All the mysteries. That's right. Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain myself!
then that'll be enough to qualify this as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of the school,
Guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, we all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement. You don't have to be suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. Mukuro's trial is no exception, then it's part of the regulations, which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro. It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyways, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in hopes since the killing game began are those 16 students.
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he get quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry!
I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, won't you? Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishments later anyways. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Alright. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life. Overall, things turned out better than I expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you. Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from the final showdown, do they? They had no choice but to accept.
Because...
It's because of that one moment that the mastermind let their guard down. So, when was it that the mastermind let their guard down?
So...
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the mastermind said? They said they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that. And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off. And yet somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
In other words.
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. The reason? They had to show the world something no matter the cost, us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
It would seem...
The mastermind had been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anyone.
In other words.
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other. That shows that off to the world. But why? To prove a point, most likely.
Hey.
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope City Academy, a certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
That's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the mastermind wants the world to see that, to try to prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal. That's the ultimate despair. What? But that's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would deceive. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason to make us suffer? I know how angry it must make you, and yet that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness.
In other words.
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The mastermind has had it with to be more particular than it's reasonable about their own regulations. If the mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
At the very least.
That's how those who are watching this would have seen. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
Indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished, but in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have the right answer, then made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yeah, thanks. And due to that failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the mastermind had to accept your suggestion to prove to the world that despair is better than hope.
In other words,
It would only do the mastermind harm to have to shown that they violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge. Well, it's only thanks to you that we got the chance, because you believed in me. Another path opened us. Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thoughts and plans we're able to figure out. I didn't have a single clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't possibly prove any of it. It was just my reasoning.
Whew.
But it looks like I got it right this time, at least. I won't bet. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seem totally confident from the moment you decided to talk to him. Plus, if I'd shown my uneasiness, that would have just made you more uneasy.
However,
We can't relax just yet. All we've done to earn another chance to fight, we have to win this time.
correct.
Or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can defeat the mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. Or if we can't, sorry. There is no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the mastermind. Work together with everyone.
however,
Is that really possible?
anyway,
Right now we have to go find the others.
shall we go?
They're probably right in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Okay. And suddenly we were greeted with you again. Is he broken? I suppose his emotional instability reached his limits. Jeez, what the heck?
However,
I wonder what that was all about.
Is that Makoto?
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto.
You survived?
Jeez, You're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
Everyone was there, all my friends who had struggled together and survived. As soon as I saw their faces, I couldn't help myself. I started to tear up.
What?
What's that smell?
What the heck?
Yeah, man, that seriously stinks. It's Makoto. He smells like a wet dog. Get away. Oops.
Makoto.
There's no time to indulge in an extended happily reunion. We need to explain to everyone what happened with Monokuma.
Yes.
Explain what? But is it okay that you're here? What if the mastermind catches you?
It's true.
That's related to what I have to tell you all. I need to tell you all about the last class trial.
In other words,
We're going to redo Mukuro's trial. Seriously?
How about that?
What's the point of redoing it? Makoto killed her, right? No, I didn't do it. Like I keep telling you.
wrong.
Makoto isn't the killer, and of course I'm not, or any of you. Then who
I
is?
see.
What she's saying is it was all the work of the mastermind. Or saying the mastermind killed Mukuro.
That's right.
It was an elaborate trap of the mastermind. Makoto spotted the trap in time and did what he had to do to stop it.
However,
But his decision meant he would be the one to die.
What did you say?
You spotted the trap, did you, Makoto? You make it sound like it was easy.
however,
But executing Makoto, who wasn't the Blacken, is a clear violation of the school regulations. The rules state that only the Blacken is to be executed. The mastermind broke their own rules, which is why I went and negotiated with them to have the trial one more time.
Huh?
And the mastermind agreed. Does that mean they really did break the rules? They had no choice but to agree. You used the TV broadcast to gain leverage you need,
Correct.
didn't you?
Naturally.
I recall what you said at the end of the last trial. When you said, now it's the mastermind's last end standard. That's what you were referring to.
Don't be mean!
I'm totally in the dark here. For everyone who doesn't understand, you can ask Kyoko to explain it later. So knowing all of this, what do we do now?
About that.
It's about who killed Mukuro, right? So our job is to expose the mastermind. But there is more to it than that, correct? Yeah. For us to win this time, we have to solve every last mystery surrounding the school. Every last mystery?
But
We've been looking around all this time. And we still don't know anything, right?
anyway,
You probably guessed it right, but if we lose all this, everyone dies.
I hate you.
Who said you could agree to those terms without talking to the rest of us? I'm fine with things the way they are. I'm fine living here forever with Master.
anyway,
At this point, the only way to survive is to unravel the truth. In
Interesting.
other words, one decisive final battle. Figuring out who the mastermind is and how they killed Mukuro and all the school's mysteries. It's a pretty tall order. Maybe, but this time the trial is different. We know who our enemy is now. So if we work together and search as hard as we can, I'm sure we'll solve all those mysteries. I'm not sure about that. I can't agree. You can't agree? Why not? I mean, working together with everyone seems like the most obvious way to solve all the mysteries. Indeed. That's what I thought too at first, until Monokuma gave us a little hint. It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough with the puns. Here's the hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students.
I see.
Monokuma said that, didn't he? Then Kyoko's option is perfectly reasonable. But why?
So, in other words,
if the mastermind really is the one who killed Mukuro, as Kyoko said, then the mastermind would have had to set foot in the school, right? Monokuma could probably murder Mukuro, but there's no way he could have disguised the scene like that.
In other words,
but according to Monokuma, the only people who have set foot in Hope's Peak are the 16 students. Then the mastermind is... There were 15 of us in the main hall at the very beginning. And in Mukuro, add in Mukuro, and you got 16. So the mastermind would have to be one of them.
that's right.
And for those 16 people who started out, we started out with, then the only ones still alive are the people standing right here. Need I continue, or do you get it now?
What?
You're saying the mastermind is one of us?
No way!
You can't be serious. We can't say for sure if that's true. Monokuma might have just said all that to confuse us. It's certainly a possibility, but only among the many. The mastermind being one of us is also another possibility. And that's one possibility we can't ignore. You can't say it's not possible, but if one of us was the mastermind, they have to be controlling Monokuma somehow, right? But did you ever see anyone acting suspicious anytime Monokuma was active?
Well...
Maybe they snuck off and controlled him in secret. I don't care how sneaky you are, we would have noticed someone sneaking off.
I'm right?
Then maybe Monokuma was on autopilot. Maybe they loaded up all the dialogue and acts beforehand. In that case, there's no way he could have had those back and forth conversations with us. Well, it wouldn't be entirely impossible if they just directed the flow of the conversation. Maybe, but still.
This is a school announcement. You've all probably figured this out by now, but at this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode. So, in the name of fairness, I will unlock every room in the school. Look wherever you want. Solve the mystery in whatever way you see fit. Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
That's fine.
The time for talk is done. We need to begin our investigation. I was planning on working alone from the beginning
In the
anyways.
name of my family.
At this point, I can rely only on myself, on the Togami blood flowing through my veins. I have no time to worry about the rest of you.
Goodbye.
Okay. He didn't take me with him.
Hey.
Don't you blame him? Without Master, the rest of us are like coffee with cream without cream. You're totally useless. And now she's gone. And you're gonna go off by yourself, right, Kyoko?
Indeed.
That's right. Which just leaves Makoto, Hina, and me.
You know?
In that case, I'm gonna go by myself too.
Just a second.
Wait, how
How
come?
about that?
Just wait and see. I'm gonna use my total awesome spirit powers to figure out the mastermind's identity. Okay? Everyone's really going off by themselves. What about you, Hina? I guess I'll do the same thing. I mean, it's not that I don't trust everyone, you know?
Because, I mean...
But up till now, I haven't really been all that useful. I just depended on Sakura and everyone else. You're not useless. If you hadn't been here, I would have died. Makoto. That's really nice of you to say. But still, I know what I've mostly been totally useless.
Okay.
So I figured at least here at the end, maybe I can find something that'll help us. See you later. Alright. It's just the two of us.
Indeed.
So you're gonna go off on your own too, right,
However-
Kyoko? Well, don't misunderstand. Just because we're going to do searches separately doesn't mean we can't still work together.
So,
That goes for all of us. Okay. And then we can get back together and share what we found. Yeah, that's right.
so then,
I'd better get going. I have an endless list of things I have to check. Monokuma said that all the doors in the school have been unlocked, right? So we should be able to investigate every nook and cranny in the school. We can visit all those places we couldn't go before. No matter what it takes, we have to uncover the truth. By all means necessary. I don't have any time to waste either. I have to begin searching. And then we can all escape together. I guess I'll start by taking another look at Nukuro's Monokuma file. Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Once we find out who killed Nukuro, then we'll know who the mastermind is. Alright. I guess I should start with the rooms that were locked up till now. Headmaster's room, the biolab, the door in the data center with Monokuma's face on it. Oh, and the second floor dorms. After that, I have to double check the areas that are connected to the murder. Which means the garden and the dojo. Okay, time to get started. Alright. Alright. Let's head in the Monokuma door.
Hey, Makoto.
Makoto, are you here to look around too? Isn't that what you're doing here? I can't help but wonder about that Monokuma door.
Yeah.
So I figured if all the doors in the school had been unlocked, that's one to be open too, right? Although I can't bring myself to open it.
I mean...
Because it may explode. Alright. I guess I'll open it. Let me take cover first, I don't want to get exploded. Okay, go ahead. Alright, here goes nothing. Wow. There was no explosion, thankfully. My first impression was... Whoa, this place is totally sci-fi. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Wow. What is this device? It looks like some kind of control panel. It's really over the top though, like some kind of military installation or something. Yeah, it kind of looks like a mech cockpit. Sorry. Right, Hifumi'd probably freak out if he saw it. So the Monokuma room has a control panel that looks like some kind of cockpit. Then that could mean...
Okay.
Let's start poking at whatever. I'm gonna start pushing buttons. Hold on, you can't just... or whatever. Something like this. But it was too late. Hina started touching the control panel.
Huh?
Did you hear that? Yeah, I think it came from the other room. What did you push? I'm not totally sure, but I think it was that one, the button that says Data Center. I saw a bunch of buttons, each with the names of a room. It, just like Hina said, it was labeled Data Center. But the Data Center, that's right, the next door. The room that we're just in. I probably better go check it out.
Yeah.
Please, I'm kind of scared out of my mind right now, so I'll just cheer for you. Okay. What's Monokuma? Is that Monokuma? Well, yeah. Hey. Give me all your donuts. Is that you, Hina?
What?
Oh man, busted. How'd you know?
Say what?
Anyways, what is this? Some kind of remote control camera kind of setup? Yeah, you don't even know what you're controlling.
Hello.
Well, I mean, I can't really see anything from in here.
Found it.
Guess what I found? A self-destruct button. Whatever you do, don't push it.
Too bad.
Oh man. Were you seriously gonna push it? The room with the Monokuma drawing on it and the control panel inside. It's probably where the mastermind controlled Monokuma from. Hey Makoto, what the heck was that just now? Monokuma. What do you mean? What you were controlling just now, it was Monokuma. For real? Yep, it looks like the panel definitely controls Monokuma. Which means the mastermind has been controlling Monokuma from here. Yeah, that's definitely in here. The mastermind that's been controlling Monokuma from this room. This is control room. Is totally separate from the data center. In other words,
Hey,
maybe the mastermind can't monitor us and control Monokuma at the same time. Kyoko's theory was right. if the mastermind's been controlling Monokuma from here, that means they've been inside the school this whole time, right? Well, if that's true, it's a very polarizing approach. Enough with puns, anyways, here's the hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants from high school. Then the mastermind, Monokuma's puppeteer, really is the 16th student. No, it can't be. There's no way, right? What's wrong, Makoto? I don't like that face you're making. Oh no, it's nothing. Okay. What about you? Is everything okay?
I mean...
Well, it's just... This is where the mastermind's been hiding, right? Who knows if they set up traps or something. So, like, you wanna leave soon? There's probably a lot of other places to check out. You can't waste time standing here. You wanna get going? Yeah. But wait, what's this? What's wrong, Makoto? Let's hurry up and get out of here. Okay. What was that? The door's locked. Huh. Of course it's locked because the data center is now restricted.
Just a second.
Hey, no fair. You can't just go around restricting whenever you feel like it.
Hey,
It's for your benefit, because if that room stays open, I won't be able to move around. Imagine how depressed everyone would get if the school mascot just stopped moving.
Yep.
As you may guess, that's where my controls are. So right now, you're being operated by someone in that room.
Yes, indeed.
You're a liar.
But that doesn't make any sense. We were just there, and we didn't see anyone. Oh, you didn't, did you? Are you sure you were as thorough as you could have been? Did you happen to check a certain suspicious hatch? The hatch on the floor? Too bad. That was your big chance and you blew it.
Too bad.
Of course, that hatch can't open from the outside anyway, so whatever. Now then, this room is officially restricted. I'll be relying on you guys to tell the others.
Yeah.
Okay. He's gone, but...
So,
Was he telling the truth? The mastermind was hiding in there? In fact, if you think back to when we got locked out of the control room, that proves it for sure. Then when I said we should leave, well, that hatch couldn't be opened from the outside anyways. So, it's not your fault.
sorry.
Okay. We don't have to let it get to us. We have to stay positive and make the most of the time. You're right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go run around and tell everyone what we found.
You
Alright.
got it.
Alright. This is the headmaster's room. I've heard an awful lot about it, but this may be the first time I'm seeing it myself. Makoto, it's you. Obiakia. Okay. There are trophies and even a shield on display in this case. Cool. There are documents scattered all over the floor. Somehow it makes me feel anxious.
Come on.
Hey, Makoto,
Not possible.
are you ignoring me?
Such ignorance.
Oh, I didn't mean to press that. Well, you come to the right place this time. Would you like to see something? What do you mean something interesting? Take a look at this. It was on top of that pathetic desk. Class 78 student registry. Contains profiles for all of us and
So in
Mukuro.
other words,
Apparently, Class 78 refers to us. When we found Mukuro's private profile in Kyoko's room,
I see.
that's right, it also mentioned Class 78. This must be where Kyoko got that page. And since the rest of our profiles are listed in there along with hers,
In other words,
there can be no doubt Mukuro was a student here at Hope's Peak. But it seems that Kyoko was in a hurry. What do you mean? I'm talking about when she stole it. The uneven tearing, the way the paper had been crumpled, she must have been in a hurry. Well, since she snuck in to get it, I'm sure she wanted to get out as fast as possible. What's your point? She was in too much of a hurry that she only got the first page. The first page? Correct, Mukuro's file actually contains 2 pages.
so in other words,
When it comes to this profile, there was more information about Mukuro. What kind of information? Why do you ask me to explain every little detail to you? It seems to be some sort of detailed report put together by the headmaster himself.
interesting.
I didn't know what kind of man he was, but I'm glad he left us such an interesting clue. I was half listening to Byakuya as I skimmed through the reports. Mukuro reappeared suddenly, and in that background, an entity floats close, but just out of reach. The entity is known as the Ultimate Despair. Right now, I can't be sure if this is a single person or some kind of group. Whatever it is, Mukuro's definitely has some part in it. I have a bad feeling about all this. I need to push... What say? And I need to pay attention to Mukuro's behavior too. This is just my gut feeling, but I think she's dangerous. Despite the countless battles she must have gone through as a member of Fenrir, when she entered Hope's Peak, she didn't display any single signs of battle wounds and scars. That fact alone proves her timid skills in the battle. Naturally, I want to believe in her. She is one of my students after all. But if I decide she's a danger to the other students, I will be forced to take all reasonable measures. Mukuro was the part of the Ultimate Despair. I don't think there can be any doubt about that. But wouldn't that mean Mukuro and the Mastermind were allies? That's why. Why would they kill Mukuro? Plus, even the headmaster seemed to be afraid of what Mukuro was capable of. They would have had to take her completely by surprise. Or maybe it means the Mastermind is even stronger than Mukuro was.
What?
What's wrong, Makoto?
That's fine.
You seem to be lost in thought, but I should probably point out one other thing. There's another important bit of information within the file you should note. What is it? Did you notice the picture in there? The picture of a girl perhaps you've never seen before. The girl who seems to be included as a part of our class. That should be enough for you to figure out who the girl is. And further information about this girl includes in the file 5 foot 7 inches, 97 pounds, and even it lists her vitals. What do you think? What do I think? Are you asking me, like, if she had a nice body?
Stop talking.
You hopeless idiot. What I'm trying to tell you is maybe you'll want to keep that in mind for later. Maybe you'll make your way back to the corpse and maybe you'll think, oh, could that mean there's a chance that the body isn't actually Mukuro? Is that what he's saying? Personally, what I'm thinking seems all but impossible, but it wouldn't hurt to confirm, right?
It's all clear now.
That's all I was trying to say. What you do with that information is your business. Alright. One last thing. It's a bit of advice. For me, you seem to be getting along with Kyoko quite well. It's not that we're getting along, she'd just done a lot of help. Well, don't put too much faith in her.
In other words,
The cost of that faith might be more than you can afford. What are you saying? Just what I think. Call it a hunch. I'll keep it in mind, thanks. What's this? Oh, is that what we just looked at? Yeah, it is. Alright. Wait, wasn't this room also locked? No, it wasn't. It was these rooms that were locked. Also, I should check out the dojo, also. Otoko. So, this is where you were.
What do you want?
Am I so disgusting you want me out of your sight? No, that's not it at all. I just thought maybe you found a clue. I haven't. I didn't find anything, not one single clue. I figured since this place was related to the case, I would have something, right? But there wasn't anything out of the ordinary here.
What's your problem?
Don't tell me to calm down. Do you have any idea what I'm going through right now? When everyone finds out, they're gonna call me useless, good for nothing. Nobody's gonna say that. Master will. I don't want that. I'm sick of it always being looked down on. Why won't anyone accept me? Alright. Is there anything here? I'm not sure. Okay. Huh? It's gone. Mukuro's body. It's not here. That's strange. The tarp's still here. The tarp played a key role in the other case. I better look into it. The killer used the tarp to keep the sprinklers from getting the body wet, which means the killer might have left some clue behind there. I didn't notice this before, but there's a small stamp on the corner tarp. It says Biolab. Then this originally came from the Biolab. Interesting. Where could the body have gone? I better start looking. Well, here I am in the biolab. It's cold. Seriously, why is it so cold? This is some kind of weird machine or something built into the wall. And on the left side, there's a bunch of glowing blue lights. While on the other side, there's some kind of weird machine. Yeah. I've seen kind of things in horror movies and stuff. It's a fridge for storing dead bodies. Does this mean the biolab is actually a morgue? I should probably take a closer look around. There's some kind of booklet here. Looks like an instruction manual. We offer an eco-friendly alternative to standard dry ice for all your cadavers needed. In addition, the germical lamps, we also provide an ozone generator for the removal of gas. Simply insert the cadaver and the blue light will let you know an automate system that have activated. Temperature and humidity levels will be adjusted automatically. With our system, anyone can keep the body fresh as a daisy for as long as you need. In the unlikely event of a problem, the red light will activate. Okay. This is an instruction manual for a fridge. It seems clear to me now. This was a makeshift morgue. Yeah. And about those lights. It looks like it set up so that when a slot is occupied, the blue light comes on, which would mean inside each slot lit up in blue, another one of the victims is. I can't let my emotions take control now. To do that, I have to continue my investigation. I don't have any other option. Alright, where else do we go? Oh yeah, the, dorms to the second floor. Over here. The gate's open. We can finally check out the second floor of the dorms. I have to do this. This is the second floor of the dorms. It looks like some ancient ruins. More like a battlefield. Okay. Yikes. Okay. Bathroom still looks nice. Huh. This room doesn't feel like a student's room. It has a more adult atmosphere.
Correct.
It's the headmaster's private room.
Indeed.
Kyoko? I've been through this room several times already, but I still have one little regret. So I decided to check out this room one more time. There's a strange gap in the wall.
So,
There's a gap here, but not just any normal gap. I can feel a breeze coming out.
indeed.
There's likely an open space on the other side. You mean like a hidden room? You know how to open it? Did you figure out some kind of trick or something?
Indeed.
A very easy trick, yes, so easy I'm not sure you can even call it a trick. I saw a program on that PC that I think controls it. Enter the right password and the door should open right up.
However,
But I don't have any clue what the password might be. All we know is it's probably made up of letters and or numbers. We can't really go from there.
it's true.
I've looked through all his paperwork, all the files on his PC, everything I can think of. I learned more about him than I had any desire to, but nothing that might have been his password. When I think of how much time I wasted on this, what could the password be?
Correct. It would seem
We might be able to get some info on the Ultimate
However-
Despair. There's not much though, nothing we don't already know.
in other words,
Ultimate Despair isn't one individual, but instead points to some kind of group. That group is responsible for the tragedy, which happened a year ago. They're the worst sort of people whose driving force that comes from despair.
However,
And that's all there is to it, not much there. But I guess the best he could do as a complete Kirigiri failure. But I didn't mean to skip that. I appreciate whatever info we could get on our hands. I see. That's a good outlook to have. Jeez. So there's a hidden room she couldn't get into. That's what she meant by regret. I think we can assume that there must be some kind of clue waiting there. But maybe for her, there's more to it than that. Anyways, if we want to get there, we need to figure out the password. And if Kyoko can't figure out, there's no way I'd stand a chance. Wait, there might be a chance. The password could be something Kyoko wouldn't have thought of, or something she didn't want to think of. For example, what about your name? Sorry, I was just trying to think of what the password might be. Do you mind if I try it, just to be sure?
well,
It's not like you need my permission. If you want to try it, try it. Okay.
hey,
If you're worried about me, Makoto, don't be. I already know that your guess is wrong. Okay. In that case, here goes nothing. Let me just type the password here. I typed her full name. It actually worked. What? That did it? Kyoko, it worked.
why?
Kyoko. Without looking at me, she disappeared into the hidden room. Kyoko. Hey, Kyoko. Maybe I may as well even not be in this room. A present? Wrapped and covered with such joy. That's what made it so unusual. Should we open it? I'm getting kind of a bad vibe from it. But I mean, we can't not open it.
Makoto.
Be careful, Makoto. Why, you think it's dangerous? Not dangerous, but surprising, probably.
It would seem...
If it is what I think it is, at the very least, it's not something you'll be happy to see. So you know what's in there?
Anyway,
Just don't scream or anything, okay? Okay, I'm gonna open it. Alright. What is it? What was in the box? It was bones. Human bones. It was the last thing I expected to find in such a bright, joyful box. I mean, who could have possibly imagined?
I see.
Just as I thought. Just as you thought, how could you have known that? I mean, there were bones in there, human
Wrong.
bones. Well, it's not that. I think of the bones specifically. I just had a feeling it would be his body. That's pretty much the same thing, a dead guy in a box. My father. What about him?
Correct.
What we found in the box? Those bones? That body? That's my father. Or at least what's left of him. Are you serious? this is Kyoko's dad? The same man she's been searching for? Hold on, how can you be so sure? How do you know it's him? Given all the information we have already, that's the only possible answer. Alter Ego said that the headmaster was probably in the school, but the only ones who were alive at the start of the killing game were 16 students. When you put those two ideas together, it doesn't take much of to assume that most likely my father was in this school, but he was also dead. That's my assumption anyways. She was only trying to seem calm. She said it was just as she thought. She knew it was a possibility, but I have to believe at some point she wanted to be proven wrong, which is why she never looked in the box herself, even though she had plenty of chances. I know Kyoko said she wanted to see her father so she could cut off all ties, but was that all there was to it? Would she really give up her pride just for that? I couldn't help but wonder. This picture. It's all faded. It must be pretty old. Is that a picture of Kyoko?
Why would you?
Well, this is annoying. I came here to cut myself free from the past, and yet to now find something like this. So what do you expect me to do now? Then I was right. It's a picture of Kyoko when she was a little girl. Knowing the headmaster had this picture all this time, he must have really cared about her.
Why?
I wanted to face him and tell him myself to cut him out of my life for abandoning me. That's the whole reason I came here. And now he's abandoned me again. And this time, he even stole the only opportunity I had to move on. Has there ever been a worse father? It's probably hiding some kind of clue.
Hey,
Don't worry about me. Feel free to look around as much as you like.
because
Never let anything get in the way of investigating. It's an e-handbook, right? And it's labeled, it says in case of emergency. I found some kind of emergency handbook in the headmaster's desk.
in other words,
A handbook with no limitations, given to the school's ultimate authority. I'm assuming that what that is, I think you're probably
it would
right.
seem
It might prove useful as we continue our investigation. I don't need it. If you don't want it, go ahead and leave it here. I guess I'll take it. Is it really okay? Okay.
Hey,
Listen, Makoto. Can I ask you a favor? A favor? What is it? I know it's completely unreasonable to ask you this.
Hey,
Could you leave?
correct.
just for a little while. I'd just like to be alone for a bit. Don't worry, I'm fine. I just need to calm down a little.
Just a second.
I need to get my emotions in order. No, Kyoko. You told me before about the relationship you had with your dad. How you're only connected by blood. But maybe that picture motivated him. Maybe he hoped to see you again. Is that what you're gonna say? So if so, it's just a theory. And it isn't an issue that can be settled with theories. That picture doesn't change the fact of what happened. That problem can't be solved so easily.
Anyway.
Once I've got myself under control, I'll return to the investigation. So please give me some time. Okay. Kyoko, it must have been a complete shock to her. But we were wrong about that. The headmaster wasn't the mastermind, which means the mastermind Trinity is someone in the school. 15 of us met in the hall at Mukuro. That makes you got 16, and including me, only 6 of us are still alive. Everyone else is dead. Even Mukuro. Even she's dead. So the only ones left alive are me, Byakuya, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and Kyoko. Only those 6 people are alive. Then there's no question. Wait, no, that can't be. I refuse to believe it. There has to be some other way. There just has to be. Okay. Here we go. This locker is totally disorganized. Whoever it belongs to probably has organization problems in every part of their life. This is a crystal ball. Crystal ball? No, it can't be. There's no way he ever used this locker. It's a deck of playing cards. They're tarot cards, but wait, aren't those used to tell fortunes? It's just a coincidence, right? There's all kinds of textbooks and notebooks and dust everywhere. I have to assume whoever stuff this is doesn't do a lot of studying. Not that I can really talk. What? Hero? Yasuhiro Hogakure? This is our Yasuhiro? The notebook contains a large number of notes, which would mean he attended classes here. That can't be possible. I mean, Hiro came to the school the same time as the rest of us. So what is this notebook? What about the rest of the lockers? I don't see anything. Okay. Was there anything else? Some kind of pocketbook. I don't see a name written on it, so I can't say for sure whose it is. I don't like violating the owner's privacy, but I better take a look. All the letters are spaced out evenly, like whoever wrote them was measuring them. Whoever wrote this must have been pretty meticulous. Huh? I was flipping through the pocketbook, but my hand froze when I got a certain page. There's a plan to turn Hope's Peak into a shelter and isolate the students here in a communal life. I decided to talk to the one who came up with the plan directly. It just so happened to be the headmaster and my father. He was willing to give me some details regarding the plan. Here's what he said. The point is to keep our student prodigy safe, to keep them as our hope for the future. Only their genius can overcome disaster. Only their hope can overcome despair. For the future of our country, our world, it's not an exaggeration to call this our final hope. We must isolate our superior youth from the corrupt world. This is the only hope we have. I hope that you will be willing to get along with this plan. So that's what my father had to say to me. As usual, he made a selfish decision without consulting anyone else. I can't imagine a worse father. This can't be true. Kyoko. It couldn't be anyone else. But if this belongs to Kyoko, what is it doing in this locker? I decided to talk to the one who came up with the plan directly. That happens to be the headmaster, aka my father. What does this all mean? When I looked at it, unlike the rest of the pocketbook, the writing here was messy. Despair walks among us. What is this? What does that mean? I have no idea. How could this possibly make any sense? Despair walks among us, and so we survive. There is a second despair. Strange. Why are those things in lockers? That looks like they belong to people here. And the notebook seems like it belongs to Hiro. And the pocketbook seems to belong to Kyoko. There has to be some kind of explanation. But if I want to find out, I have to keep moving the investigation forward. Okay. Ooh. It's time. Ooh.
This is a school announcement. Is everyone working hard? Is your investigation coming along nicely? Well then, since you're all giving it your best, your generous headmaster will give you a little hint. For those of you who are interested, please make your way to the gym ASA possible.
Okay. Now he wants to give us a hint. It's suspicious. There's no doubt about it. This could be a trap. Alright. Oh, hey, Hiro. Makoto? Why you act so surprised? No reason. You hear Monako's announcement. Are you here to find out what he has to say? I just did, actually. I'm on my way out. You already talked to him? What'd he say? Listen, sorry, but I gotta go. Hero, wait. There's no point in trying to stop him. He ran off. Hero. It was like he was trying to avoid me. Has he been hiding something this whole time? Okay. What you gotta say?
I am Monokuma!
Welcome, hello. Are you ready for your final hint? It just so happens to be in the envelope on the ground in front of you. The envelope? This must be the envelope. And just so you know, I won't be answering any questions about what you find inside. Don't worry, just get on with it. What I found was a single photograph. Featured a bunch of faces I recognize extremely well. It was everyone who came to Hope's Peak. Wait, but there's someone behind Sakura. Or Saika. She's the only one I didn't recognize. That's not true, I do recognize her. When Byakuya and I were in the headmaster's room, we looked at the file. Mikuro Ikusawa. Then this girl is... What? Why is Mikuro here with everyone else? And even more than that. Just having everyone here posed like this is weird enough by itself. And we're all wearing matching uniforms. I didn't remember anything like this. And now, that I'm looking at it, it's not even everyone. Like, sorry guys, my controller was acting up. I'm not in the picture. I'm the only one not in the picture. The picture has all 15 other students, but not me. But I guess that makes sense. After all, I don't remember ever taking a picture like this. I went to junior high with Saika, but the first time I met everyone else was when I arrived here. So it's natural for me not to be in this picture. I thought everyone was like me, they didn't know each other until they got there. But if this picture is real, then that could mean, it could mean everyone else and just me, everyone here except for me is. How long are you gonna keep just rambling to yourself?
What are you gonna do?
You're kind of getting in the way standing there, you know. So I mean, get out. But I told you I'm not fielding any questions. What kind of mystery would this be if I gave you all the answers? Okay. So in the end, all I found in the gym was even more confusion. How does this count as a hint? It just made things even more confusing. Is that what Monokuma was going for? Did he put together a fake photo just to confuse me? But it looks so real, so full of life. How could anyone fake that? Which would mean everyone but me. Maybe I should just ask everyone directly. That should clear things up. No, I have to clear all this up. Where to now? Okay. Are we gonna ask everyone else about this? Obiakia. Listen, do you think we could talk? Byakuya.
That's enough.
I have nothing to talk about. Don't talk to me as if we were friends. Byakuya, wait. But of course he didn't. He just walked away. Why was he acting like that? Okay. Hey, Hero. Makoto, what's going on with you? Every time I see you, you just freak out. No. Sorry, but I'm in a hurry. Okay. Hero, what's wrong? Strange. I decided to visit the biolab one more time, and the first thing I saw when I got in there was her passed out again. Toko? Are you okay? She's not dead, she is. It's cold, it's super cold. If you keep taking naps in places like this, I'm sure you will. What, I was asleep? I must have fainted again. I bet you were standing there staring at me. No, I wasn't.
Have you reached
Oh,
that
then.
certain age?
Okay. So why did you pass out? I don't know, last thing I remember was me waking up just now. Oh, that's right. Your memory stops and starts each time you switch. We share some basic knowledge, but our memories are very much separate.
SOB!
And don't say it like a bad thing. Because even if she forgets something, I totally remember. So it's like double the memory. Okay. But all I want to know right now is where my little darling is. I don't know, I'm sure Byakuya is around somewhere, doing some investigation.
Oh, I'm on fire!
I gotta hurry. Why did Choco faint? There's gotta be some reason for it. She saw this body. The fridge is open, but I'm sure they were all shut last time I was here. That must be why she passed out.
Right.
She faints so easily.
Makoto.
It's getting late, isn't it? Are you okay?
Indeed.
I'm sorry if I made you worry. No, you don't have to apologize. Listen, about this room,
It would seem
it's a morgue. Yeah.
I knew it.
suspected as much, and Toko must have looked inside the fridge, seen what was in there, and fainted. You know she fainted? I was on my way here when Genocide Jack came running past me. I assume she must have sneezed, but once I got inside, the real reason became clear. I imagine she came here to investigate, and when she opened the slot there was a body inside, and she dropped.
Anyway,
We should close it up. I don't want to leave it hanging open like that. Good idea.
Makoto,
Give me a hand with this. Suddenly she stopped. What's wrong?
listen.
Maybe we should wait a second before closing. How come? Because Mukuro's body is in here. Mukuro's corpse. Mukuro's body is inside the fridge.
I see.
Just like every other time, the Mastermind probably brought it up here while we were in the class trial. The Mastermind did it because they assumed we wouldn't be doing the class trial over again, I guess.
So,
You may be right. Either way, now I can finally get a good look at the body.
Makoto,
I need to do my own examination of the corpse. I'm gonna find a clue this time. I'm going to grab the Mastermind by the tail. What should I do?
then,
Why don't you just wait over here? Okay.
it would seem
The blue light comes on when a slot is occupied. So when someone's in there, a blue light comes on. Looking around the number of lights that are on, including Mukuro's, there are 9 in all. 9 lights. Okay. Don't let me interrupt your investigation, but I wanted to talk to you about something. What is it? It's about the announcement Monokuma made earlier. You mean the one about the hint or something? I didn't take him up on the offer. Why not?
because
The only reason he'd give us a hint at that point would be to confuse us. I can solve this mystery on my own without whatever hints he may offer. That's a good point. Guess you're right. Did the Mastermind forge the picture to confuse us? That's gotta be it. There's no other explanation. Okay. What else we got? I've seen a tarp like that somewhere before. It's the same one I found in the garden. And if I remember, that tarp had the same stamp on it that said Biolab. And that's the tarp that was used to help camouflage the murder in the garden. At some point, someone got it from the Biolab. Okay, Makoto, I'm done. That was fast.
indeed.
Anyone can do a good work if they go slow. In that spirit, I'll make my report brief. So, did you find anything?
Indeed.
I paid careful attention to the wounds and traces of blood. The stomach wound and blow to the back of the head were inflicted after death. Really? The burnt tissue made things a little difficult, but I'm completely confident in my findings. Then, what was the fatal injury? Due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. The only other option is those other wounds, but the file said they were old.
Is that right?
Where does it say they're old?
Because...
All the Monokuma file says is that they were inflicted at least several days ago. I guess I didn't see the difference.
Wrong.
Well, the difference is immense, considering the impression they give.
Listen.
You seem to be equating several days old with simply
However,
old. But that doesn't quite follow logic. Old wounds, it makes it sound like they've been there forever, like they're not related to the murder. Are you saying they are? But we all got the Monokuma file right after she was killed, right? So if the wounds were at least a few days old, there's no way they could have anything to do with it.
so then,
But what if Mukuro herself wasn't killed within the last few days?
at the very least,
I certainly you can allow it as one of the many possibilities, can't you?
right.
As a detective, doesn't have supernatural powers. There's no way to predict the answer from the beginning. Instead of the ideal detective begins by imagining as many possible scenarios as they
In
can.
other words,
They envision these possibilities without prejudice, without bias, using only their logic. Then, as they investigate, they test what they find against each other possibility. Of course, me telling you this doesn't mean you'll be any good at detective work, but beyond using that to solve this particular mystery, you should keep in mind for the future.
hey,
So if there's anything else that you would like to know about the contents of the body, come to think of it, there is one thing. Earlier, when I looked at Mukuro's profile, it lists her height and weight.
so...
5 foot 7 inches, 97 pounds. Vitals were 31, 22, 32. Did I get that all right? You remembered all that? They are indeed consistent with the corpse. So then... And don't forget about the Fenrir tattoo. There's absolutely no mistake. Our victim in this case is without a doubt Mukuro Ikusawa.
And?
Is that all you wanted to ask? Yeah, I think so. Then it looks like we have no further business with Mukuro's body. Are we not gonna put the body back? Don't you think that's kind of sad leaving it out like this?
Why?
Sad. Don't you forget, she was our enemy once, a part of the Ultimate Despair. But she still got killed, she's still a victim. Have you ever heard the phrase, you re-up what you sow? Well, yeah, but still.
Whew.
You really are naive, you know? It's really quite appealing. Okay.
So then,
I think we're done. Back to our separate investigations. Yep, hold on. I still have one more thing to do. Something I need to talk to Kyoko about. I need to ask her about the pocketbook. If I don't do it now... Hey, Kyoko. I did have one last thing. I know I shouldn't, but I feel like I have to ask.
What?
Go ahead. Have you really not seen your dad even once since you got here?
What? So...
What do you mean? Well, you know, all those lockers on the second floor in the
Indeed.
dorms. I do, yes. But to get into any of the lockers, you need the handbook of whoever a locker belongs to. Actually, I managed to get them open using the emergency handbook. Heck. Sorry guys, something popped up on my laptop. I had to check it out. The one you found in the headmaster's hidden room.
And?
So, did you find anything worthwhile in the lockers? I found a pocketbook after looking through it. I think it must be your pocketbook.
Why is that?
What makes you say that?
Because...
Like I said, the only locker's owner should be able to get in. I can't imagine those lockers belong to any one of us. After all, we could only access the area just recently. What I'm saying is there's no way I could have had access to any of these lockers. And if I did have a pocketbook, why would I bother putting it in a locker? Everything you just said makes perfect sense, but there was something written inside. It was about the headmaster, about your father.
If that's true...
Could that mean that video is real too?
Makoto.
I think everything is finally starting to fit together. Although, I'm afraid that picture might be worse than anything. Worse than anything we could have imagined. What are you talking about? I need to go investigate those lockers right now. I need to confirm what you just said with my own two eyes. Okay, let me give you the headmaster's handbook.
So...
That won't be necessary. If I'm right about this, I shouldn't have any problem opening the locker with my own handbook. After all, it would seem that it's my locker.
Makoto.
If you watch this, it'll all make sense. A DVD.
So...
I found it in that hidden room after you left. I didn't have time to explain. I don't have time to explain exactly what I think it means. Just go watch it for yourself. I think you'll realize exactly what it means. You'll understand why you found my pocketbook in a place none of us have ever seen before. But I guess that means there's some important clue on the DVD.
Makoto.
And now it's my turn. Do you have a second to listen to me?
In other words...
As it turns out, the arrangement I'd make didn't stick. What I mean is, I'm less and less sure of everything, even my own feelings. You're talking about your dad. I can never find the answer to the question I wanted to ask for the rest of my life. All because of the mastermind.
However...
But there's one thing I'm sure of. When it comes to the mastermind, there's no room in my heart for forgiveness. I swore to destroy the mastermind. This is just one more reason to follow through with that. It's strange to be confronted with his death and suddenly feel this way. I couldn't care less if my father had found happiness.
Why?
So why is it? Why does it bother me so much to know how he suffered? It's ridiculous. There's just no understanding it at all.
Whew.
So that's it for my rambling. There's still much we have to consider. You're right. But to keep this in mind, there's only ever one absolute truth. Whether that truth serves justice or suffering. Whether it's the greatest truth or the worst. What do you mean?
Makoto.
Even if the truth we uncover is filled with hopelessness, you still can't give up hope. Because all I can do is keep moving forward. That's pretty much all I'm good at, you know. Sorry if that was strange.
So then,
I need to get going. Alright, let's go check out what's on this DVD. Can't afford to lose. Alright. The dining hall. Oh, I still have to talk to Hina. Is this where you've been hiding? Listen, I was hoping to talk to you. Makoto. Sorry, gotta go. You know. Strange. Okay. This should be able to play DVDs just fine. Well then, I better take a look. It said that it was playing, but nothing appeared on screen. I stared into the black monitor. It must have only been a few seconds. But to me, it felt like an eternity. And then all of a sudden, an image appeared. Sayaka? It took me by total surprise. I hadn't seen Sayaka in who knows how long.
Okay then, are you ready to begin?
That voice I heard was the man positioned on the side of the screen. It was the voice of a middle-aged man.
I do apologize, but I hope you don't mind if I record our conversation. I'm a little slow, you know. I never really got the hang of taking notes while having a conversation.
It sounded like he was trying to make a joke, but Sayaka's tense face didn't move a single millimeter.
So this video is meant to serve as a kind of contract substitute. It's not that I don't trust you guys. It's more like insurance. So please don't worry too much. Now then, let me get straight to the point. There is a chance that you may have to spend the rest of your life here in the school. Can you accept that?
Do you want me to accept that? Sayaka was obviously at a total loss. It makes total sense. Who would agree to spending the rest of your life in this school? What?
Thank you. And I'm sorry about all this. Well, I can promise you that I will do everything in my power to keep you safe. As the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy, I give you my word.
As if on cue, the video cut out. There was a lot that I hadn't understood up till now, but this one, I simply couldn't comprehend what I heard. But I know how much Sayaka wanted to get out of here. I know how much she wanted to escape and pursue her life dreams with her friends again. She wanted that so bad, she tried to frame me and murder. So why? Why would she say yes to living here for the rest of her life? On the monitor, the video that I thought was finished flashed back on screen. Huh? What I saw was me.
So, Makoto, before we begin, I should let you know that I'll be recording our conversation.
Yes.
Me and the headmaster were looking at each other. I had absolutely no memory of it. I had no memory of even meeting the headmaster.
Now, shall we get straight to the point? Makoto, there's a chance you may have to spend the rest of your life here in the school. Can you accept that?
Yes.
This can't be real. I said
I'm sorry
yes.
I'm putting you through all this.
Well, I mean, we don't have much of a choice, do we?
But I promise that as long as you're in this school, I will do everything I can to protect you. As the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy, that's the very least I can do for you.
Once again, the video cut out. Byakuya? Toko? Hina? Everyone. They all said that they all agreed to live in the school forever, and then Kyoko found out she had met him. The monitor suddenly went black. Huh? What the heck just happened?
Say what?
Looks like it broke, out of service. It just so happens to break just now.
Too bad.
Now then, when doesn't matter. Failure can strike anywhere, anytime. That's what failure is, right? You cut the power on purpose. Even if I watched the whole thing, it'd just be more of the same. He asked them a question, and they'd say yes. I remembered something.
That's right.
I fainted too, and then I woke up. I noticed a strange feeling of separation with myself, a disconnection. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to the school.
Hey,
Strange, isn't it? I've lost my memory too. Interesting. Is it time now?
For anything that has a start, there has to be an end. And if the end comes, then that means it's time for a fresh start. There is no night that doesn't have a dawn. Although that dawn is totally pitch black, there is no storm that won't eventually end. Of course, then that leads to drought. But as I said, every end is a promise of a new beginning. Which is why I'm sure we'll get to meet again. Because the end is only the beginning. Anyway, let's get started. The beginning of the end of the class trial. Everyone gather once again at you know where.
It's about to begin. The class trial is going to start. The final class trial. The last time all our lives will be on the line. The last time hope and despair are on the line. I don't have any choice. I have to do it. Okay. Oh boy, that was a long episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be the finale.